Welcome to Whiteboard Project Management Channel. In this channel, you will learn the tools and techniques used in the project management in a practical way. Prepare your white sheets, grab your cup of coffee, hit subscribe, and let's start the session. The project controller always controls the project knowledge areas during the project execution and monitoring and controlling phase to ensure that the project is going according to the planned data. In other words, the project controller always works with live data and baseline data, or he or she compares the planned values with the actual values to make sure that the project is going smoothly according to its planned value, because the planned parameters of the project, the approved planned parameters of the project, are the path of the project to complete the project successfully. Let's hit the whiteboard and let's write the main 3 activities for the project controller. Project control. The main 3 activities for the project controller is the schedule control, the cost control, and risk control. Those are the main activities for project control. They are not the only one, but they are the must also. The project controller also controls the quality, controls the procurement if it's going on according to the plan, controls everything of all the knowledge areas, the 10 knowledge areas of the project, controls everything. But those the 3 constraints of the project control are the main, which he or she needs to check. Now let's summarize the main activities below each one. So the schedule control. Once the schedule is planned, there is a baseline for the schedule. So the schedule is created, the schedule is baselined and approved, or created, approved by the client and baselined. This is the contract and cannot be changed. The project controller also works during the planning phase of the project. So the first one here is the schedule baseline. So the project controller makes the schedule baseline. Once the schedule baseline is set, the schedule updates are required, and the schedule controller must update the schedule according to the plan. Once the schedule is updated according to the intervals of the project, we need to have the schedule forecasts. Okay? So 3 main activities for the schedule control. Now let's go to the cost control. The cost control set the budget, he or she works together with the project team to set the budget. Once the budget is set, take the actual cost and create the forecasts budget forecasts. Budget, yeah? Forecast of the budget. So main three activities here are set. Now let's go to the risk control, which is the risk identification, risk register, risk response, risk monitor, and risk control. Let's discuss now about those activities. For the schedule control, the schedule is baselined during the project planned phase, and it's baselined. Now, during the project execution, if we say that the project is here, this is the cost, this is the time, this is the duration of the project, and this is the cost. Then, during the update of the project, during the project phase, if we say we are today here, we are updating the project and the project is going for this day if we are in schedule or out of schedule. So the project controller works together with the technical team to take the information, the actual information, to feed them to the schedule baseline and update the schedule according to the date of the updates. Once it's updated, then the schedule controller can create the schedule forecast, because now we are having that the project will finish in duration D, but if we are in delay, the project might finish with D1. Means there is a deviation here, delta, a deviation here because of the delay. And the project schedule controller makes the forecast of the project with respect to the time, only with respect to the time, unless he is responsible for the cost as well. So the project controller for the schedule control says, okay, there is a deviation. The forecast which he or she see is that the project will be deviated, there will be delay of time, there will be some extra time required for the project or less time required for the project. The deviation, the 6 sigma or the standard deviation, is set for the project according to the project analysis. Now, the project controller also, when he or she updates the project, need to create the critical path analysis. This is important because during the updates, the critical path means the shortest duration required to complete the project. In some critical paths, the milestones which could be under penalty could be there in the critical path. Then it's subject to update the risk analysis. Now let's go through the cost control. The cost controller always compare the planned value with the actual value. Whether he is using the earned value methodology or another methodology, he always needs to compare the planned value with the actual value. Then once the actual value is set, need to perform the analysis of the parameters to get the forecast of the budget. Means needs to make the forecast parameters for the project, which is to complete performance index, cost performance index, estimate to complete, budget at completion, and others. The cost control might say, take care, red flag, the project is now finishing over budget, or we have a cost overrun. We are not over budget because we have some contingency, the management contingency reserve, but they could say we are having, or we are facing a cost overrun, and the correct cost control will say, yellow flag, we will have cost overrun within 2 months, 3 months duration, and should not say, be careful, it's already there. The project control with cost control and schedule control needs to properly plan and analyze the data which they have, because they are there to make sure that the project is going according to the plan, and if it deviates, they should highlight the alarm that there will be some risk here, and we need to make risk mitigation, risk response, and control that risk to make sure that we are going back according to the plan, and ensure that the project is deviate with the accepted standard deviation. The problems here nowadays, most of the project controllers, they think that we are only reporting and the rest is on the project manager. This is not correct. The project control is like a hammer knocking the project manager always on his head. So they are always saying, we are checking, you are not going according to the plan, get back to the plan. We are checking, get back to the plan. It's like a center of something, and the project control always going around it to make sure that the execution of the project, which he is going and he is responsible for, is going according to the plan. It's like his angel looking on his right shoulder and left shoulder, the schedule control and the cost control. Those are like angels of the wings of the project manager to ensure him that he is working and going according to the plan, and there will be no extra deviation. Let me now show you an example on the whiteboard for a project which need to deviate. This is time and this is cost. This is our project, the S-curve. This is the budget, the budget at completion. This is the planned value, and this is the time. Now, this is the planned. Once we are executing, we could go the actual cost, we could go around the project. the project has some deviations, accepted deviations. Those deviations, the delta, is the standard deviation of the project. The calculation of the standard deviation is explained in another episode of Whiteboard Project Management. You can go back and check the standard deviation. This is through the critical path analysis where you can get the standard deviation. So the project execution could go according to the plan. In some point, for a reason, there is some risk happened, not monitored. The project could go over cost. And once the interval here is planned for the reporting, let's say once a month for large EPC projects, or the correct is once a week. So if we say, okay, once a week, week 1, or this is not week 1, this is week, let's say 10, this is week 11, this is week 12. So in week 10, we are in schedule. In week 11, we are saying, okay, there is some risk here, and the project is going to be deviated. And you can see as far as we go, the deviation is getting higher. So we need to set a plan. The risk here is set, and a yellow flag should be highlighted. And the risk should be applied. The contingency reserve for the identified risk should be used to reduce the actual cost and going back to the plan. If, let's say, the scenario that the risk is not highlighted, or the risk action is not performed well because of the lack of contingency or because of lack of executing that risk response, and let's say that the scenario is going worse. So in the next week, we can say that the deviation here is much higher than this. So in this week, it's a really red flag because we are going to cost overrun, and the, let's say, contract value is here. So we could finish either by negative impact. So if you don't take the correct action at this moment, you are out at the end of the project. And the correct project control should say always here, take care, we have this risk, we have this actual cost. It's happened due to lack of planning, due to problems with the client, due to problems with payment, due to some other things. But we need to have the correction action, which need to be return back the actual to the plan, to make sure that we are finishing with accepted deviation and not with big deviation. This is what I am saying, that the project controller is not only a reporter. He or she is not only a reporter. They are a red or yellow flag people who are saying, we are here today, be careful, we are going to be in negative at that time. We have to do today what we have to do to get back to the plan. Project controller is like a PMO, a directive PMO. Okay, it depends on the structure of the company. But in EPC, in large EPC projects, you need to have a healthy project controller. If you have a healthy project controller, you as a project manager will be very happy, because both scheduler and cost control, they will navigate you. If you deviate from your position, they will tell you go right, go left, go right, go left, and then you are going according to your plan and lead the project to its successful parameters. I hope that I managed with a short time explain the main activities for the project controller. And if you have any questions, leave it back in the comments. I will be happy to explain more and make another video with more details about all what we just explained. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.